Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers 18. We spend some time talking about the new Transformers manga, and we also talk about how COVID-19 is shutting down conventions. Today is Friday, March 20th, 2020, and this is episode 173 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's having its own virtual TFCon with online blackjack and VR hookers. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
Sometimes one steals ideas from another franchise and needs to copyright it, and now this is what happens when you don't copyright it. Yo.
Jeremy, a.k.a. Yakko.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Not sick.
You don't need to answer, Yoshi.
It's become a thing. Until Daryl can say his part like a normal human being, it's become a thing.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian beast. How you going?
I'm good. Let's talk Transformers.
All right. And this week we have special guest Jimmers from Distortion Productions.
What's up, y'all?
Jimmers, it's great to have you on. We had you on the toy show, so everyone should remember you from that episode just a couple days ago.
Those were the days.
And
You're right. You might remember him from such podcasts as Transmissions, episode 373.
And Jimmers is the mind behind Respect the Prime, the Transformers 1986 reimagined soundtrack album, and the vinyl edition was just put out last year and is still available at distortionprod.com. Would have been available at TFCon this weekend. Sadly, it no longer is because TFCon was canceled. But we still love Jimmers and want to have them on and make sure everyone knows about it because they should still pick it up, even if you can't get it in person.
The planet Earth went viral. No good. Okay.
And I mean, that's kind of true.
Take two.
Well, thank you guys for having me on yet again. I adore you guys. You know that.
The feeling's mutual.
All right, settle down.
All right, and as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatrions, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. We have some goodies going out very soon. Jeremy mentioned it on the toy show. You want to mention it again?
We have, actually, they should already be out at this point and on their way. For the $5 and up Donatrions, as of March 1st, we are sending a coaster and 3 stickers. And they're holographic stickers. They look really cool. You're getting one of the Tape Man designs, which we're really happy with in terms of shirts and stuff. I think it looks great. Mike is the one that designed that. And then we have this bad guy logo that Daryl came up with the idea, and then he went to K-Girl and was like, hey, this is kind of an idea I have. Can you make it look good? And she made it look awesome.
Yes, you mean you're rubbing it in a little thick here, but I mean, you can just say I'm too stupid to make it myself.
No, you're not too stupid. You just don't have the art talent that she does.
Right.
Wow.
Isn't that what I said? Just a little nicer.
You came up with a great. If it were me,
Look,
I'd do the same thing.
I put a Canadian spin on it. I said the exact same thing, just nicely.
All right. Well, the last one is I came up with a new logo for the show based off of the early 2000s Transformers logo.
And who made it for you?
I made it.
Oh,
it's all fonts. It's in clip art that's in the public domain. I was able to manipulate that and make something look really cool.
sounds like a brag.
Well, it looks awesome. So next time you come up with something really cool, I'll let you know. Anyway.
Wow. The shade is just going throwing off.
We all go toe to toe with Jeremy. We all get our asses handed to us. So we can't do that, Daryl.
That's true.
Anyway, these are all going to our $5 Donatreons. And if there are any extra, there should be maybe a couple. They might make their way up to TFCon Toronto, assuming that happens. I can't wait to see these in people's hands. So.
Awesome. And speaking of that new logo, the Ratchet strikes back. Speaking of that new logo and the bad guy and good guy designs, those are all on new shirts that you can pick up at our TeePublic store at TeePublic, at transmissionspodcast.com/shop, which goes to our links to our TeePublic store. So you can pick up those new T-shirt designs using that new logo Jeremy designed and the bad guy and good guy logos that Daryl came up with.
Thought of.
Designs for.
Had somebody make.
You did the layouts.
And this week, until March 22nd, all shirts, everything at our TeePublic store and everything at TeePublic in general is 35% off. So T-shirts are $13 and everything else is 35% off. So you've got a little bit of time to check out our new designs and pick up those shirts right now for a pretty hefty discount. And so check that out.
Are you a good guy or a bad guy, Charles?
I like to think of myself as a good guy. I don't know if everyone else would agree or not, but I would probably get the Autobot logo or the good guy logo. That's not actually an Autobot logo, but kind of looks like one.
I think you're a pretty good guy. Pretty good.
It's a bad guy at night.
All right. I'm a counterpunch situation.
Well, we'll have to find out. We gotta ask your wife.
Let's go on with the show and start off with comics news. And first up, so we mentioned the Transformers, the manga, Volume 1. This was just recently released in the U.S., translated from Japanese to English. It collects the manga that was put out in Japan from the 80s. Daryl and I showed this off at Trips to the Store this week. And we've got some notes from the letterer who did the production on the English language version of this book, Brandon Bovia. And he talks a little bit about all the work he did to get these books redone in English. It was not as easy as you might think because all this art is from the 80s. It's all analog, basically. It's not, digitally produced in Photoshop or anything. So he had to go in and manually erase the Japanese text and write the English bubbles over it, which means, going over the art pretty significantly. So it's very interesting, all the work he put into it, and he's pretty proud of it, and I think he did a great job. So and he's working on the future volumes as well. So Volume 2 and Volume 3 will be out later this year. So we'll link to his Twitter, so maybe you can go send him a note. If you got this book, just give him a little thank you for the work he put in to bring this to us. So very cool. Maybe
it's worth noting, Charles, that apparently at least we had no clue this thing came with two different covers.
That's true. Yeah, that was a surprise to me. So Daryl got the variant cover, and I got the regular cover.
The normie regular cover.
So Daryl, you might want to put that in the vault. Maybe that'll be worth something in a little while. So
it's already there.
Next up, we've got news about IDW's financial situation. They've got their first quarter 2020 results. I guess their revenue is increasing. They're not quite profitable yet, but their revenue increase, at least for the on the publishing side, their revenue went from $5.8 million in fourth quarter 2019 to $6.3 million in first quarter 2020. So that's a step in the right direction. They are still, I guess their shares are still trading down. They've lost 91 cents per share on their revenue of $14.1 million for the first quarter. So that includes the publishing plus their other media stuff. They also got a $12.3 million in private placement. I guess this is some additional funding to expand their intellectual property library and development and growth of the entertainment slate for general corporate purposes.
Does this include the TV stuff? Because wasn't this a big point of contention the last time this topic came up? Was that we were all really, talking about the fact that what was it? Wynonna Earp was, very, a fan favorite show, but just was doing horribly in the ratings. But people who loved it really, really wanted to keep it around, but literally was the only thing that was kind of liked from IDW.
Well, and now they have Lock and Key on Netflix.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So,
I'm sure they're very happy with it.
Yeah. But Wynonna Earp is still going.
But this does include that. This is for the parent company,
right?
Over all of that,
right? So so they're still saying they're not going to be profitable until 2021, fiscal year 2021. So they're trying to just this year continue to increase their revenue and I guess reduce their costs until they get profitable next year. So we'll see. I mean, and I don't know what the COVID-19 situation, this is probably going to throw a wrench in a lot of production. I don't know what is currently being produced right now. But at least on the media side, a lot of productions are being halted for a while. So we won't know, what follow-on effect that has. I think on the comics side, comics are all produced digitally, so that probably won't be affected. But the media stuff, who knows? All right. Next up, we've got a bunch of covers. So first up, there's a cover from George Kaltsoutis, and this is for Transformers Galaxies number 6, which should be out in a couple of weeks, at the end of the month. So this is the part 2 of the Cliffjumper and Deathsaurus story, and this is the retailer incentive cover for that book. The interior art is again done by Alex Milne and Josh Perez, and written by Kate Leth and Cohen Edenfield. So I think you guys reviewed issue 5 last week. I have to say I was very, very happy with issue 5, so I'm looking forward to the conclusion with issue 6. It's always a treat to see Alex Milne and Josh Perez back on a Transformers comic, so it was really nice. And the Cliffjumper story was very interesting. It's a very different take on Cliffjumper, but one that is, something that is always in the back of our minds about, how the toys are always repaints and clones of each other. So having Cliffjumper be always in Bumblebee's shadow is very interesting.
This lists David Garcia Cruz as the...
Oh, does it?
I mean, who knows if it's actually correct? It could be John Paul Beauvais. Don't know.
Well, okay, so my apologies to David Garcia Cruz when the book comes out. So, but this month actually is I think we're getting a Transformers comic every week this month. So we've already got Galaxies number 5, Transformers 18 was out last week, Transformers 19 is out this week. And then Galaxies number 6 will be out next week. So, good job, IDW. Please keep it up. Narrator, they won't.
No, they're playing back or catch up, right? So
catch up, yeah. Still, I can hope.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we've got a cover from friend of the show Endonatrion Winston Chan. He's gotten more work on official Transformers comics, so he's doing the cover for Transformers Galaxies number 8, and he put up on Instagram basically a set of images that show his process from initial sketches, basically pitches to the editor, then the initial sketch for the cover, the refinement, the lines, then the flats, and then the final colors. So it's very cool to see the progression of the art there. And we will link to Winston's Instagram so you can see that and let him know what you think. I think it's really cool that the artists put out these things. Then we've got Ed Peary, who you guys mentioned the cover that he's doing for Transformers number 20. That's coming out in a couple of months. And he's also a pretty well-regarded Transformers fan artist, now getting official work. And as you guys mentioned, John Paul Bove has sung his praises. And I believe he colored this image for Ed Peary for this cover. So check out, these are the lines for the cover. And yeah, it's just cool to see the artists showing off their work. Then we've got issue 19. This is another retailer incentive cover. Yeah, so we've got the cover for a couple of covers from Transformers number 19. The retailer incentive cover is by Freddie Williams II, and this features Alita 1 and Bumblebee. So Alita 1 in the background. Looks like she's in distress, and then Bumblebee looks like he's on the run, and yeah,
and
so
that's looks like she's inside Megatron.
Yeah. So that's a cool cover, and then we've got another cover as showing the process from start to finish, and this is by Thomas Deere, and this is cover A for that same issue, and this is Bumblebee with a target on him because he's being hunted in this issue. But yeah, Thomas Deere put that up on his Instagram so you can see the original lines and then the final colored. Next, we've got a Eastside Comics exclusive variant cover for Transformers 84 number 1, Secrets and Lies. So this will be out in May, I believe. And yeah, this is a interesting retail incentive cover. Very so reminds me of like the 3A statue, the hyper detailed.
I don't fucking understand why they went with this look on a G1 comic.
Well, I mean, it's a retail or an exclusive commissioned cover. So the comic store who is getting these made, they commissioned this cover. So I guess we'd have to ask them.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking to somebody here who's going to hunt down every fucking cover, except now this one. Like, why? I just don't understand why you would throw the ball so far away from the target audience.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd be curious.
And the artist is John Jiang, who did this cover. And he's doing... two, or I don't know if the same artist is doing two covers, but there's going to be two exclusive covers from Eastside Comics. So maybe the other cover is maybe there's some kind of set where the other cover is a more throwback one and this one is a modern one to contrast them. I don't know. That's a possibility, but we'll see. We don't have the second cover yet, so we'll have to wait and see. Lastly, we've got the Japanese cover of the IDW Robots in Disguise Volume 2. So this is Japanese translations of the previous IDW comics. So Robots in Disguise Volume 2 from the previous IDW comic series universe. And this is a new cover for this trade paperback by Yuki Oshima, and features Ironhide, Bumblebee, Prowl, and Skylynx. It's a cool cover. It does use those old War for Cybertron video game designs that were used in the comic because the comic was out at that time, so they were kind of harmonizing the designs to be more Cybertronian. So at least for Ironhide and Bumblebee, that's what the design they used. For all of the Japanese folks who didn't get a chance to read these in English, now they're published in the native Japanese language. So this is supposed to be out March 28th, so just about a week or so. And that will do it for all the comics news. So let's move on to our comic review. And this week we are reviewing Transformers number 18, RC/Greenlight Run. Written by Brian Ruckley, art by Umi Meow, pages 1 to 5, 10 to 13, and 18. Also art by Bethany McGuire Smith from pages 6 to 9, 14 to 17, and 19 to 20. Colors by Josh Burcham. Letters by Jake M. Wood. Editors David Marriott and Tom Waltz. And assistant editor Riley Farmer. So we've got a few covers. First cover, cover A, Greenlight and Gage reaching for RC. That's by Umi Meow. Cover B, Gage and the Winged Moon by Bethany McGuire Smith. Retailer incentive cover with RC and Greenlight in the Ruins. That's by Kei Zama. And the convention exclusive cover A is Megatron Standing Triumphant by Livio Ramondelli. This is produced for San Diego Rocket Con 2020. And then our convention exclusive cover B is Cyclonus and Friends cosplaying as My Little Pony characters. And this is by Priscilla Tramontano. But we don't know actually which convention that is for. But it is labeled as a convention exclusive.
They will sell it around San Diego time. Even if San Diego doesn't happen, I imagine they will sell it online. That's just my speculation.
That's reasonable. All right. Jeremy, which cover do you like the best out of these 5?
Well, I got cover A, and I like it. But if I were just to pick out of any of these, I would have picked the retailer incentive, the Kei Zama. She draws so good.
She arts good.
Better than Daryl, at least.
Well, I'll agree with you on that one.
All right, Jimmers, which cover would you pick?
I'm going with Livio's.
Cool.
Because I don't know, I had something about that image that I really like. And I dig his style. I mean, Kai's is a really close second, but I think Livio's takes it. I love the colors. I think it's fantastic.
And Daryl, which cover are you doing?
As much as I like the fun of the second convention exclusive one, I can't get over the fact that it's using characters from the previous continuity, and it just doesn't fit. It's just like it's just a custom cover. So I mean, I bought 2. I bought the first one and the RI, but I think the RI is pretty kick-ass for this one. Kei Zama's.
All right, Yoshi, which one are you picking?
Well, I'm going to go against Jimmers. Something about Optimus Prime being executed like that just doesn't mesh with me. So I'm going to go with Zama's cover.
All right, I am going to bow to the majority and also pick Kei Zama's cover because I think it's really well done. And yeah, I am a big fan of Kei Zama's art. And I think she nails RC and Greenlight here. All right, so let's get into the story. In Iacon, RC and her partner Greenlight wait for their mentee, Gage, to finish her architecture design lesson with Grapple. Greenlight is trying to convince RC that they should take passage on a starship run by the reversionist religious sect and leave the turmoil on Cybertron. Despite all the recent trouble with the Rise, RC isn't ready to leave Cybertron. She hasn't even ever been off-world and isn't an expert in xenobiology like Greenlight. Greenlight relents and just asks RC to think about planning for their future away from Cybertron at some point to stay safe. Meanwhile, Gage has finished her lesson with Grapple and returns to RC and Greenlight. She had fun, but one of the other bots mentioned that she's only alive because Brainstorm died. This devaluing of Gage's life enrages RC, and she storms off to have a word with the bot. As she returns, Gage looks up to see the sky getting dark for apparently no reason. But RC realizes the terrible truth. The space elevator tether to the moon has been severed and is crashing down on the city. RC gets Greenlight and Gage to cover in a nearby building, and they survive the destruction. But they're not out of danger yet. The tether is a massive cable that will wrap itself around Cybertron, crushing everything in its path. RC tells Greenlight to get Gage out of harm's way while she goes to help the survivors. But Gage protests that she wants to help too. There's no time to argue, so they get to work helping other bots out of the wreckage. Progress is slow but steady as they help some bots nearby. Gage hears some commotion in the distance and wanders off towards an Energon storage center, thinking there's someone in there she can help. But as she approaches, another bot on the ground yells at her to get down, but it's too late, because she is blasted square in the chest by someone looting the Energon. RC sees Gage go down and races to her side. Strongarm, the security bot who shouted the warning, tells them to get under cover. Strongarm helps get Gage to safety, complaining that her nice, safe, mundane patrol has gone to hell. But her partner Bumper is excited to see some action on his first deployment. Strongarm, who's already seen things go bad with the Rise when the Emergent Titan was destroyed, is not impressed. As Greenlight catches up and joins them, RC is brimming with rage at the bots who shot her young mentee. Bumper helpfully points out that Gage will be fine since the looters are only using sub-lethal weapons. But that doesn't calm RC down. She rushes into the Energon storage center, ready to attack. She wrestles with the first attacker and easily disarms him with her aggressive fighting style. The stunned bot calls out for help from his compatriot Gut Cruncher, who shoots RC in the face. But this only enrages RC further. She turns her full attention to Gut Cruncher, using the other bot's own gun to trade fire with Gut Cruncher. But he distracts RC by throwing a bunch of Energon cubes at her. He uses the diversion to escape, so RC is only able to hand one would-be looter over to Strongarm and Bumper. The tether falling has changed everything. RC is now convinced they need to leave on that reversionist ship yesterday. RC and Greenlight transform and roll out to make for the ship's launch site. Gage hasn't picked an alt mode yet, so she is forced to ride on top of RC in car mode. They move quickly across Cybertron, dodging falling debris and other hazards. They speed past Red Alert and Inferno as they are trying to contain a fire that might cause an explosion of a nearby Energon field. As explosions rock the landscape around her, RC is unfazed and pushes on, while Greenlight struggles to keep up. Finally, all three bots make it safely to the reversionist ship launch site, only to see a mob gathered around it trying to get on. RC asks someone in the crowd, and he tells her that security is trying to shut everything down and not let anyone else on board the ship. This is unacceptable to RC, and she pushes through to the front of the crowd. She faces down a security bot who bears an uncanny resemblance to Tailgate. And while the guards are busy subduing her, Greenlight and Gage sneak by to board the ship. On board, the reversionist greets them and says they're the last bots who made it on the ship. Well, almost the last, because just as the doorway closes, RC catches up and squeezes inside at the nick of time. Greenlight is relieved she doesn't have to leave Cybertron without her life partner. And RC is ready to start a new life with Greenlight and their young ward Gage. To be continued in Transformers Galaxies number 7. So that was Transformers number 18. So this continues the familiar pattern by now of a 5-issue story arc with then a single issue as a kind of side story or alternate or one and done story. So this has happened in the last there's been 3 major arcs of the Transformers series, and then after each 5-issue major arc there's been one story that's somewhat unrelated to the main arc. And so this is kind of an aftermath story because we saw the tether be destroyed in the last issue. That was the conclusion of that arc. And so this is the showing off the aftermath of what happened there on the ground, and then also gives a jumping off point for Gage and RC and Greenlight and their story that's going to be continued in Transformers Galaxies next month. That's the whole story. So Jimmers, what did you think of this issue? I know we had a little bit discussion off mic that you were still not really feeling the new Transformers series, but does that continue with this issue? This issue was a little bit more standalone. So what did you think?
Yeah, this one seemed to me a bit worse than the main story. Honestly, I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't even get. It was this one was actually a struggle for me to get through. Gut Cruncher appeared, so that was a good thing because I like that character. But I can't. And just seeing that it's going to be continued in Galaxies, I mean, none of these characters I really have any kind of attachment to. I like RC, but anyone else really not so much. I just, it's hard for me to get into this, guys. It's not like the days of old. I just can only hope that it picks up from here. That's basically all I got to say about it.
Okay. Daryl, what did you think?
Well, when I started the book, I thought this was going to be a little bit of a boring read because all they were doing was talking. But then it got a little bit more action heavy with the them racing to the ship and the fight and Gage going down, and I thought, okay, well, here's some action. This isn't half bad, and I mean, it ended up being a really quick read, which I don't mind at all. So yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought that Umi Meow's artwork was phenomenal. Bethany McGuire-Smith supplemented it with some really great pages herself. So I thought the artwork was great. Josh's colors tied them both together really well. So yeah, I thought that there was some really great work on the art side. The characterization of RC it really puts her back into a very similar light that she was in the previous incarnation of Transformers from IDW. So I mean, that's okay. I didn't mind it at all. She was a pretty badass character then, and it looks like she's still a pretty badass character. Although she was a bit of an assassin in the last ongoing. Now she's a mom. So hey, moms can be badasses. So I mean,
they did mention that she was an assassin in the last war. So,
that's true.
But
don't fuck with a mom's baby. That's it. That's nature. You don't screw with nature, right? So, yeah. No, I thought that was cool. I thought the fact that they used the tether falling to tie everything in. The one spot, I mean, as we went through it again, I kind of thought about it to myself as like, maybe they're on a different part of the planet than where the fight was taking place with the Titan. Because when I read through it the first time, I'm like, would they not notice a giant Titan bringing down the tether? But maybe they're in a different part of the planet than the Titan battle was, and they maybe didn't notice that
Well, the battle was actually on the moon, so he cut the tether on the moon. So on Cybertron, they wouldn't notice until it actually fell down.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, but other than that, I didn't mind the story at all. Like you said, it's a one and done story. You're in and you're out, and then it leads to the 3-issue Galaxies coming up. Yeah, I thought it was good. It gives you a little bit of a lead in to the characterization of RC, Greenlight, Gage, and then even introduces Strong Arm and Bumper, which I know we've seen before, but I still just like to think of them as Bumble Jumper because that's the cool toy. So. Anyway, but no, I didn't mind the book at all. I thought it was really cool. Badass mom RC is pretty awesome.
Nice. Jeremy, what did you think?
I enjoyed it too. It was a bit of a quick read for me. Just being that they were just constantly running. But I like that RC, like Daryl was saying, she's still a badass. She doesn't have that like rage that she had from the previous continuity, but she shows that she's a very capable and dangerous person if you piss her off. I like that. Some really interesting stuff with the lettering here that, now that Jake M. Wood is getting kind of more and more into the Transformer stuff, like at one point you just see in some clouds, just a bunch of like R's and A's and stuff, like as the tether is hitting the ground. And I just think that's something I haven't seen in like the effects in some other books, and I thought that was really cool. But I don't know, I enjoyed this more than I have enjoyed some of the previous issues. I thought that those have been getting a little bit better too. So this is like below Galaxies, but above some of the other recent. And I will say the art was really good. I enjoyed the art, and both artists did a great job, I think.
Cool. All right, Yoshi, what did you think?
I'm reaching my hand out to Jimmers and pulling him up onto my platform here because I don't care about anything in this book. Like, why do I give a shit what RC is going through? Why? What? I mean, okay, she's being a badass. It seems this issue seems to be a vehicle to remind fans who already think RC is a badass that she's still a badass. I don't care. Like, why? Give me a reason to care about this. This is maybe just a bad issue to come back in on, but I don't care about what she's doing. I mean, I think as a writer, you need to make sure I'm invested into what the fuck's going on, because right now I'm not. And she plows through this entire crowd at the end of the book and gets on the ship, and there's not an immediate riot with all those people seeing what the fuck she and her cohorts are doing. All these people want off, and they just stand by as these three fucking bust their way onto the ship. You know what I care about? I care about this cable. Like, I want to know the backstory behind this tether that fell down and destroyed all these buildings, because that's how long it's been since I've read this. Like, that to me was interesting. The fucking lettering was great, just like Jeremy said. I thought that was interesting because you could easily choose to read out the sound effects or let it blend in with the art. The way that was done was genius. Absolutely genius. I don't agree with the art at all. It's terrible. But I don't.
What don't you like about it?
The faces. The faces are just super anime-ish. Like, I mean, those, to me, that's not. It reminds me a little bit of how Lawrence does his faces. I don't. That's not what a Transformers face. I don't know. It's too emotive. I mean, I guess.
Okay.
To each their own. I mean, people are allowed to like it and allowed to hate it. I'm not. The fuck? I mean, it was a get to point A to point B issue. I don't understand. Why the fuck do I care? There was one scene that I remember seeing where at least we got to see RC transform. That was nice. But I don't fucking understand. Like, why do I give a shit?
Okay. Well, I mean, if you wanted the story about the tether, that was the last previous 5 issues, so...
Okay, but how telling is that? I mean, I haven't read the last 5 issues. I haven't read more than that. I haven't been on the damn show. But to read this issue, and my takeaway is the tether was the most interesting aspect of this issue, and I didn't get anything on it. It just fucking fell. Is kind of telling. Like, why is it that's what I care about and not the actual action or the character? It really just feels like, hey guys, remember RC's a badass. Next issue's coming.
Well, I mean, I think this was supposed to be an introduction to these characters because this is a new continuity and these are new characters.
All the more reason I should care about what these characters are up to.
Okay, I don't know why you don't care.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm just stating. Okay. Calm down, birthday boy. Okay. Calm down.
You're the one who's excited.
I'm pissed. Yeah. $4, like, and I'm interested about a fucking tether.
Okay, I mean, hey, I'm saying I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from.
Sure,
for me, I actually really like the art. I think both Umi Meow and Bethany McGuire Smith, their art works really well together. I felt like it was. That's one thing that's very very consistent is that the styles between both artists I think mesh for this book. Of course, Josh Burcham coloring the whole thing helps keep it consistent. But yeah, I think the art is really well done. I think everything is the storytelling, the visual storytelling, and the pacing and the expressions and everything I think are really well done. The crowd scenes are well done. I like how some of the coloring, like you have in the crowd scene where everyone is kind of monochrome except for the bot that RC is talking to. I think that's a nice way to emphasize, that's the foreground versus the background. I think that was interesting. yeah, so I think all the art was really well done. I think it's a very simple story, but I think it does a good job of introducing these three main characters. You've got RC, Greenlight, and Gage. Gage being the child, RC and Greenlight being the parents with different parenting styles, where Greenlight is more cautious, RC is more more assertive. I think I think it's relatively simple and straightforward, but I think it's a good way to introduce these characters, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do in Transformers Galaxies and how their 3-issue story arc will go with their going onto this ship and traveling out with this religious group, and maybe we'll get some more information about these reversionists and the religious order that they run. When we see them on the ship. So it got me interested about what the Transformers Galaxies arc is going to be. And it was nice to see Strong Arm and Bumper as bit characters, and I hope we see more of them in future issues. All right, well, that was Transformers number 18. And we will move on to Transformers Media News.
All right. In media news this week, we have a mega 3-hour video from Transformers Cyberverse, where they put together season 2 in a marathon with the first 4 episodes of season 3. This is on the Cartoon Network app for the US on YouTube. And that means that only the Americans can watch it, so that sucks. But yeah, so take a look at that if you're an American, and don't bother if you are living anywhere else in the world. In other news, Soundtrack Saturdays is back, and they have put up another song, and it is from the G1 show, written or composed by Robert J. Walsh and Johnny Douglas, and it's what song is this? Oh, it's just it's another instrumental. It's the I don't know. You listen to it, you'll know, you'll recognize it immediately once you listen to it. So, but yeah, and lastly, E1, the entertainment network or entertainment franchise or not franchise, but what are they? Subsidiary
company,
the company, yeah whatever. That Hasbro bought and got them. What is it? Def Jam? No, not Def Jam. Is that
Death Row?
Death Row, yeah. Death Row Records. They are going to be responsible for producing all of the music for Hasbro franchises. That seems logical. You bought a record label, have them make the music. So. Yeah, that's a good decision. So yeah, there you go. You got this record label and distribution network, and yeah, have them make the music. That seems smart. So, but yeah, no. Other than that, that's all the media news we got.
All right. One other thing, since I am an American, I did notice that this weekend the first 4 episodes of Cyberverse season 3 finally aired on US TV and Cartoon Network. So probably by the time this goes out, they will be up on YouTube, because it seems like Hasbro puts them up the day after. So we'll have links in the show notes if they are indeed up by then. And then the next 4 episodes should probably be up this Sunday for the next arc. I think season 3, I mean, I think we already talked about how season 3 is the last season of Cyberverse. They really ramped things up. So I'm eager to talk about it when they start, they finish up airing here.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really quite good. So I'm eager to watch it again when it airs on actual television. But yeah, I was waiting with bated breath for when it actually, started dropping. And yeah, so I'm really excited to start talking about it because damn, they reached for some references and they completely landed them. So yeah, I'm really, really proud of them for this season. They did a really good job.
Did Canadian TV get the first 4 episodes already, or not,
it would have? It might have aired today. I didn't look. I was out doing stuff, so got to spread the virus.
Doing the Lord's work.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, but no, I'll check and see where we're at.
All right. Speaking of the virus, let's move on to convention news.
Yeah. Speaking of the virus, we talked about this on the toy show, but you probably know by now, TFCon, which is supposed to be right now, is canceled. Refunds will be going to everyone that had tickets. I mean, really, we don't need to belabor the point. It sucks for everybody, but everything is closing down. I just read recently, like as we're recording this on Sunday, that MGM is closing all of their Las Vegas resorts. If Las Vegas shuts down, it's serious. So, but in order to help out, because artists they count on their income that they get from going to conventions and doing commissions and stuff as, I don't know what percentage of their income, but even if it's 5%, that's still 5% they were counting on. If you go to transmissionspodcast.com/artists, we are collecting information on how to connect you with an artist and have them, or ask them to make you awesome art and have you give them money. And it's a nice transaction, helps out everyone. So if you are an artist, please give us your commission information and we will be glad to add it to the page. And if you are just a fan that want art, you want some awesome art, go there and check it out. So that is pretty much it. We also have, like WonderCon is also postponed. Emerald City is postponed. But Yoshi said on the last show that they're actually moving or giving you the opportunity to transfer your badge to the new date. So that's good. But yeah, we'll see if things like San Diego, I'm assuming that's still on, TFCon Toronto. As of this point, I think anything in the summer, I wouldn't cancel your tickets yet. That is it in convention land.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks again to Jimmers for joining us this week. Jimmers, what do you want to plug?
Well, as I said on the toy show, we have, in addition to the Respect the Prime vinyl that we released last year, upcoming is Electronic Saviors Volume 6. It's our final volume in the Electronic Saviors box set series to raise money for cancer research. And that comes out June 12th. Pre-orders are up right now on distortionprod.com. My band Red Locust has a new album also coming out on June 12th called Whom the Gods Wish to Ruin, They First Drive Mad. And that is also up for pre-order. But other than those two things, and sorry I don't get to see all you guys at TFCon Orlando, but hopefully Toronto. And hopefully all this awfulness passes soon and everyone comes out on the other side safer and much better than we are right now. So thanks for having me on, guys.
Anytime, Jimmers. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, we will definitely be putting the link in our show notes. So everyone check out distortionprod.com. You can get lots of all the cool music there. And yeah, look for Jimmers at TFCon Toronto. Crossing our fingers that TFCon Toronto is going to happen and not be pushed back.
I'll be there.
So if there's a there to be there, that's the issue.
Well, we can hold it at my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me,
all right,
Jimmers,
that's the backup plan.
And Charles at Daryl's house.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right, we'll see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye. See you guys.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Once more with feeling.
Okay. So we've got a few covers this week. Let me pull them up just a second. And how can I get to them? Where are they?
Hold it together.
You can just go to the wiki page for all there.
I could do that.
That's code for I'm not. Shut up, Jeremy.